Hi everybody, Johnny Vivento here. Wow, that's the best cup of coffee I've ever had in my life. It really is. How you doing everybody? Not very proud of the video I made yesterday. Had a bad cough. Of course I still have it. There's nothing wrong with me. I just have a cough, just getting over a cold. Everything's cool. A lot of people actually commented. If you look on the comments of those videos asking me I need this, I need that for the cough or whatever, but thankfully I'm okay, really, I'm fine, 100%. I even felt good during the cold, okay, it wasn't that bad, it's just that my nose was running somehow and I was a little achy or whatever, but I felt fine, you know. First cold I've had for many, many years, and I'm here in Mexico at 80 degrees, even though today it's overcast. I don't know if you can see it out there, but it's pretty overcast, pretty grey today, you know, and it's rare, but it's how it is today. I don't know. It's been 2 days in a row now. It hasn't been that. It's still about 75 degrees, but it hasn't rained, you know. 75 degrees, really overcast. I feel bad for the tourists that have come here to Puerto Vallarta, Mexico, because they're not having such a good time of it, right? But at least they can actually walk around without sweating, so that's something. Anyway, how you doing? Sarasota Tim. Okay. I yesterday gave an alternative, how to retire at 62. I don't know if you saw that video, but I really did. I gave an account that anybody can do it. You just got to take the plunge. Okay, now, talking about financial stuff. Okay, so you're 62, you don't have a lot of money. Even less, let's say, than Sarasota Tim. You don't have a lot of money and you think, wow, how am I going to make this? I don't have any savings for retirement. Even though I got Medicare coming in a couple of years. I get my $1,700, $1,600, $1,800 Social Security check. What do? Well, I'm telling you, a great way is to come here to Mexico. As I said, you can come as a tourist for 6 months. And you can get a place, you know, all the rentals that you can get, like the cheaper rentals, 6 months or a year. Okay, and you can just come across the border. You're entitled to do that. You can have a vacation for 6 months. You know, you can be here, see if you like it or not, and you'll determine after 6 months whether you will like it. Okay, now you can also buy a bicycle if you live a long way, like from the beach. If you want to go to the beach every day, as I said yesterday, the beach is free, doesn't cost anything. You've got a beautiful beach here. It goes for miles here in Puerto Vallarta, Nueva Vallarta, going south, going north. Absolutely beautiful, you know. And you can live a very happy life. It's a very safe area, very security conscious here in Puerto Vallarta. We've hardly had any problems at all. I've been here a couple of years. I've hardly had any problems. Never heard of anything, okay, ever happening. In my complex, in 2 years, I never heard of a theft of anything, even though we are gated. We're in a gated community, but still, there's people coming in and out. You don't know who everyone is. But anyway, it's pretty safe here in Puerto Vallarta, really. I've never heard of much street crime. Very, very rare. There's a lot more street crime in southern Denver than there is here in Puerto Vallarta, that's for sure. But anyway, let's get back to it. So you can come to Mexico. You can do it. Just buy your ticket. You can even get a return. You know, you can go back to where you came from for a couple of days and then return back if you want to do it that way. But I'd recommend coming here, maybe a one-way ticket. Just get over here, get a lease if you like it, or stay a couple of days in an Airbnb, see if you like the area. If you do, go for an apartment, because you'll be pretty excited when you get here. It's a pretty, what can I say? It's a pretty lively town. Okay, Puerto Vallarta is a lively town. A lot of people, massive amount of inhabitants for the size of the town. And the food is great, the weather's great, and everywhere is accessible. Transport is quite cheap here. Ubers are cheap, and you can make it here. You know, items are cheap. Most apartments actually come with furniture, so you don't have to buy any furniture. You just have to pay your utilities. You can stay in your apartment doing nothing, watching TV, watching Netflix for a month. It'll cost you $700, plus you just go out and get your food. You could probably live for $1,000 a month here. You know, you really can if you don't go anywhere. When you go out, you have temptation. You might go here, might go for a cup of coffee, might go have a couple of hamburgers at a, what is it called, Carl's Juniors or Five Guys or Burger King, or you might want to go to Wendy's or whatever. You know, we have them all here. We have everything here, but you never know what happens when you're out there. So also you can buy a bicycle here. They get pretty inexpensive. Walmart sells bicycles. Costco, Sam's Club, they all sell bicycles here. Okay, you can ride around for nothing on your bike. It's pretty safe. I've been riding around it for years. Never ever had a problem. Well, I've had 2 accidents. They're both caused by myself. So anyway, I'm just saying that if you can ride a bike, great. You can buy an electric bike. I saw an electric bike yesterday for $500, brand new. Electric bike. Sold at like a dollar discount store here in Vallarta in one of the malls, and they had a promotion. Actually, it was $600. It was 12,000 pesos. And they had one, I think, for 9,000 pesos, something like that. And you get an electric bike if you don't want to pedal. But anyway, come here. As I told you yesterday in the video, medical treatment is very reasonable. If you have a big condition, I wouldn't recommend coming, because you never know. I mean, you got to be better safe than sorry. Okay, so if you have a doctor who knows how how it's treatable, your condition, that's better. But if you come here, what can I say? You can still get looked after, but I don't know. You know, I mean, it might be better if you're at home for that kind of thing, especially if it's a serious one. But if not, like a regular person like me, I haven't had any real conditions, so I came here, never had a problem. I've been to the doctor once, as I told you, and that was actually resolved, the whole problem. You know, I needed an injection. It was in this arm. Everything was perfect. Now it's a perfect arm. Okay, so I'm just saying that medical treatment is great here. I really highly recommend it. So you come here and you find your place to live. Usually they want a month, a month's rent and a month's deposit, okay, which is the last month. So if it's, let's say, $500 a month, including furniture and utilities, everything except electricity. So most places will have furniture, they'll have gas, they'll have water. You can drink the tap water, so you've got to buy water here. You bring it in big 2-gallon containers, which is fine. I have a filter on mine, which I learned I don't want to carry those things up the stairs or whatever. But if you live on the ground floor, great, and they deliver it to your house. Water guys come around and deliver water to everybody's home. Now, rents usually include the internet. Okay, usually everyone has the internet service, and they're not going to cut it off just because you live there. They're going to keep it. The only thing you've got to pay is electricity. Very inexpensive here. And most apartments have air conditioners, so you can use, overnight, especially in the summer. You've got air conditioners. It will cost you in the region of, if you're a couple and you have a small apartment, in the region of $100 US every 2 months. Okay, 50 bucks a month. Okay, that's how much it will cost. So you've got your rent, which might be 500, might be 6, might be 550, 450, whatever. Plus you got that 50 a month for your electricity. And if you live within a mile of the beach and you can walk, it's great to walk the beach. Okay, a mile's not very far at all. Okay, so the whole strip here at Puerto Vallarta is accessible by road so many ways. You can come and live a nice, peaceful life. Now, you can use your cell phone from the United States. Okay, the same service, any service. I have AT&T, and I use it here. Perfect, absolutely, no problem whatsoever. And most areas like malls and whatever, they have Wi-Fi, so you just plug into your Wi-Fi. Most restaurants do, and it works absolutely perfectly. You don't need another service. Now, Mexican telephone services are much cheaper. They're like half the price of US services. So maybe you want to get a Mexican one. It's okay. You can still use that phone in the US. The towers, it will bounce. Everything will be fine. It's a Telcel here. It's a company called Telcel. And yeah, they you can use them in the United States. Mexicans go to the United States to use their phones, no problem at all. It's actually better to use your phone, easier and better service if you use the Mexican phone in the US than vice versa, okay? I did have a few problems with texting and calling, so I went to WhatsApp. WhatsApp is the way to go here in Mexico. As long as you have WhatsApp, you're okay. Okay, everything's perfect, absolutely everything. Now, so that's that out the way, and then you can live. That's all it costs. It's no, it's no brain surgery. I know everybody says, well, they might throw you out because you don't have a visa. That's not true. Okay, you're allowed to come here for 6 months. You get a 6-month stamp on your passport. Okay, you don't have to sign papers to be legal here to live here. No, you don't. Okay, you're a good person. If you wasn't, they would get you at the border. Okay, they are. If you're a criminal, they won't let you in here. Everything is done nowadays. They know who's who. In this country, they know who's who, and they act accordingly. I mean, if you've done any minor offences in the US, I guess you're okay. I mean, it's just that everything's cool, really, and you can come here, you can come and live. It's a wonderful country to live in. People are exceptional. Mexicans do anything for you. They're just so good. They're great people, wonderful people, just like they are in the US. Not all of anybody's good. Oh man, it's the best cup of coffee out of my life. That really is. It's Maxwell House. It's not my usual Folgers, as I told you yesterday. That I'm just drinking that for now, just to, it's so good. But anyway, it comes from Costco. Costco sell lots of great stuff. As I say, you can come here, you live, and it's as easy as that. Okay, there is no brain surgery. There's no, there's no doubt. This is the way you do it. This is how you can do it. Now, after 6 months, you don't want to leave here. Okay, you've been here 6 months. You say to your landlord, can you give me, I don't know, I'm going to leave the country. I'm going to be back in a couple of days. But you don't. You take 1 day. You get a plane to Tijuana. You walk to Tijuana. You walk across the border and you walk back. That's all you got to do. Okay, and you get another 6 months on your passport. I've done it twice. Okay, and I'm legal now. I'm a resident here, but I never used to be. I mean, I wasn't sure that I wanted to stay here. So I gave myself a year just to see whether I'd like it or not. And I discovered that it's a wonderful place to live. It's great. It really is. And nobody's really uptight in Mexico. Anything goes, it really does. And you don't have those big bills. You don't have the big temptation to go and buy something big. You just live your life. I know rich guys who live here and they have a plastic watch and they don't have a car and they have a little motorcycle with a helmet. I mean, rich guys, wealthy guys, and they live in gated communities with incredible homes, okay? But here, they live really down key, okay? That's how they want to live. They don't want anything. They're not, what can I say, materialistic, apart from their homes, I guess. But really, that's the way it is. And they stay at home, and they're nice and quiet, and they have a great time. The weather's awesome. They might go to the beach like I do, like once a week or whatever. Actually, I don't even go once a week anymore. I don't go. But I used to. I used to be there all the time. But yeah, it gets old. So now you want to live life. You want to do certain things, which I do. I do so many different things. And you have time. Once you retire at 62, you have time. I never had time for nothing before that. And then once I was 62, I did work a full-time job. Actually, I went to part-time. The boss said, please work for, which I did. I went to full-time. And then I used to cut it after 6 months, come here and go back again. I used to like mix it up a little bit, which is good. So I did like 3 different jobs up until the last time I came here, and I was like 65 and a couple of years ago, and I'll be going back to Denver, Colorado in another couple of weeks to work, because I'm kind of being a little lazy. I do things, but I'm not really making any money, and I think, oh man, you hear about things, you get thinking, wow, I wish I could buy that. I don't really want to put the money into that. And you can do it that way. You know, if you have somewhere to live, you have family especially, if you want to go back, you can stay with them for a few months, work, and then come back again. But I'd recommend coming here and starting a new life, okay? The big problem I have children, okay? So I like to go back to visit them and be around them for a little while, and you know, that's one thing I do miss. That's the only thing I really have in the world. I have my wife, I have a sister who lives in Greece actually, and I have a brother who lives in Portugal. I live in Mexico, and my kids live in the US, you know. So I mean, that's the main thing. That's the thing I really want to go back. They're the only people I have in the US apart from family in Canada. I have a lot of family in Canada. But anyway, so you do that, and it's just that simple. You might think it isn't, because I know people are thinking, no way, it's not that simple. Otherwise, nobody wants to do it. That's the thing. Nobody. You need guts, okay, to do this. It's like, let's say Sarasota Tim, okay? He retires at 60, he gets a part-time gig. He actually went out and he said, you know, I'm not paying rent anymore. I'm going to buy myself a rig, an RV, and a truck, and I'm going to do it that way. And he has saved a lot of money. Just think, he hasn't been living in an apartment for 4 years. Okay, so we're talking about big money. He's saved like $50-something thousand, or more actually, what I'm talking about, for not living, maybe 60, how much is it? I would say he's saved about $65,000, $70,000 by not living in an apartment. Okay, he has his truck, and if you think about it, it kind of pays for the truck and the RV, if you think about that. But anyway, and he's happy. He's actually mentioned it the other day in one of his videos, how much he saved on rent, which he has. So anyway, so you do this, you get over here, and there's a lot of Americans. You have 50,000 Americans living in this area, okay, and they have a great life. They all enjoy it. You have a lot of snowbirds coming here. They come, you know, for 6 months every year, and 5 or 6 months, and they love it too. But the permanent residents, about 50,000 in the greater area that we have here. We're like 4 or 5 different cities: Sayulita, Punta Mita, Bucerias, Puerto Vallarta, and Nueva Vallarta. Okay, and going around, about 50,000 Americans. They love it. They have a good time. They own homes here. They rent here. There's poor Americans, poor, Canadians too, and there's wealthy ones, and lots of middle class. I consider myself a poor one. Well, anyway, not really. It's a lower middle class, I would guess. But, you know, anybody can do it, really, and it's not that difficult, you know. And most people here speak English, and everyone is willing to help in Mexico. People are willing to help, you know, they really are. And if you don't speak the language and they don't speak a word of English, they might laugh and smile at you or whatever, and you're, you know, now I get by very well. But I didn't used to. I used to speak zero, you know, but now I can go out and I can order a meal and I can say what I want and what I need or whatever, you know, and in stores as well. So, you know, you get by that way, and you're going to learn another language, which is nice, you know, and you hear a different culture. The culture, the Mexican culture is amazing, as you all know. But anyway, it's a real thought. I'm not saying just do what I've just said, but I'm just saying it is a food for thought, okay? Sarasota Tim has the right idea, okay? He does, and I'm going to reiterate that. He has the right idea. Retire if you can. You only live once, okay? And you know, you can be working yourself into a grave at the age of 70, okay? I am working with, I had a few years off, and now I want to go back. I've got a lot of things to do in the US. It's going to take me a couple of years. I have a big storage unit that I've got to get rid of. You know, stuff like that. You know, I have a goal. I should have done that 2 years ago, but I came here and I kind of lazed around. I had other things to do. You know, I did a bit of writing. I've been doing a few videos. I had this idea to do the videos, and I've been doing other things, you know, like other things. I have a garden. I've redone, you know, the whole place. So, you know, things like that. But it just depends. And I've been taking care of the wife as well. You know, we have our own agendas. She does a lot of stuff, and she works in therapy. So, I mean, yeah, let's call it like that, like it is, and just say, please come here and move and do what I did. You know, I never had I never had a permanent residency back then. I used to do that. I came in as a tourist a couple of times, back and forth, and I did that. I found a way to go forward, okay? And I think it worked out. I honestly do. And a lot of people don't do this, but they should. I'm telling you, it's the way. Especially if you haven't saved for retirement. I'm going to the poorer people now because, you know, they need help and they need some guidance, okay? And the guidance is, I mean, you see people in the United States and they rent a place and they say, oh, they're worrying about their rent. They're in their 60s, 70s, and they're worrying about their rent, okay? And you go, why? Well, you know, I'm on Social Security, I've got disability and whatever. They could move here easily. You know, they really could. I used to work with two ladies in Colorado, and one was 76 years old and one was 77 years old. And the 76-year-old one day came to work and she said, got a massive problem. What's the problem? I have a septic problem in my home. Oh, geez, yeah. And I have to redug. It's going to cost me $12,000 to do. Plus, last week my car just collapsed and they want $5,000 to fix it. Where am I going to get the money? It's a difficult situation. Now, she inherited this home from her mom, okay, when she passed away at the age of like 100 or something. And I didn't want to say to her, because I felt bad to say, why don't you sell the home and move? You don't have to go out to the United States, but the money will carry you a long way. You know, everywhere in the US, the homes are incredibly highly priced, as they should be. In certain areas, let's say, and she lived in a nice neighborhood, but I didn't want to say, I think you should sell your house and, you know, do something different. And she was quite a lively person. She would have loved it here in Mexico. She would have absolutely loved it here. You know what she did? She was working. She carried on working. She said, I'm going to pay these bills. And she carried on working 40 to 50 hours a week. 76-year-old lady. Now there's a 77-year-old lady who actually worked in the same department, 77 years old. She had been at this facility for 45 years. And she said, I'm thinking of retiring next year. A 77-year-old lady thinking of retiring. Why? Because apparently she had her mother was still alive until recently, okay? And she was taking care of her mom, and she had no choice. She had to, what can I say? She had to pay the rent. She had to do this. She had a Social Security, but this was a supplement. The work was a supplement. But she needed to work as a supplement to take care of her mom, because the government wouldn't give her they wouldn't give her the carer's allowance, apparently, for some reason. I don't know what that reason was. She never said. I don't like to be nosy into people's affairs, but I'm just saying, a 76 and a 77-year-old lady. I work with these people. You know, and I watched it and I was like shaking my head. I didn't want to say anything to anyone to offend anybody, but that's how the United States is becoming. It's not just the United States. We're going to North America, Canada, Europe is the same thing. Everything is crazily expensive. Accommodation, food, whatever, you know, and really, to cut everything out and just come to a place like Mexico. You can go to the Far East, that's fine. A lot of people are going to the Far East. People I know, they've gone to the Far East, but I'm telling you, Mexico's the best. You know why? Because right next door, we have the greatest country in the world. The United States is the greatest country in the world. And we have everything there. And you don't have, it's like myself, I do not want to be too far. You know, I was going to move to Portugal. I had this thing. My brother lives in Portugal. He said he wanted me to be there, and I went to look at houses. I was even close to buying one. And one day I just said to myself, I can't live here. It's too far from my kids. It's too far from the United States. I cannot be that far from the United States. It doesn't, I can't. I just can't do it. You know, it's a haven. It's the best country in the world. It's a haven. Okay, Sarasota Tim feels the same. Okay, it is a haven. It's a place that he can't leave. I mean, if I ask Sarasota Tim, does he come in? There's no way he's going to do it. He's the typical average American guy who would never leave the United States. He's kind of like my son. I have a son who said, Dad, I never want to leave the United States. I don't want to go and visit Europe. I don't want to go to the Far East. I don't want to go to Mexico. I don't want to go anywhere. I am staying in the United States. My son is 24 years old, and he will never leave the United States. He doesn't want to. He doesn't want to travel. He says, Dad, everything's here. I've got everything I need. If I want to travel, I'll travel within the United States. And he has mixed heritage, you know, but he still doesn't want to leave the United States. This is the way he feels. And but a lot of people think about it and they're not sure. Well, I want to reassure that it's very, very simple. Of what I've been telling you about the plan of coming to this country, it's very, very simple. It is not difficult. It's not brain science, not brain surgery. It really isn't. It's just, you just do it. You get your suitcases and you come over and you do what I said. Airbnb, get a cab from the airport here in Puerto Vallarta, which you go across the bridge because it's a lot cheaper to get a taxi there. Always do that in Puerto Vallarta. When you arrive, do not get a taxi right by the airport, unless you're a rich guy. Okay, if you're rich, okay, they'll just double the price. If you go across the bridge, it's half the price for any taxi. And or you get an Uber from outside the airport, okay? And go to your accommodation, your Airbnb, and in one day, I guarantee you will find an apartment. Just walking around, there's always signs everywhere, Sarenta, to rent, or Savendi, to buy, to sell, sorry. And go for the renta, the rentals, they're everywhere. You just call the number and I guarantee within an hour or two somebody will come down and show you the place. You can say yes or no, or you can look at like 10 different places, but there's so many around. They're building like wildfire. It's like they really are in Puerto Vallarta, and so a lot of people are renting their places out and they're buying places a little outside, like I did, let's say. But it's worth coming and you will not regret it. And I'm just giving you the advice. I'm giving you the trying to give you the drive to do it. Okay, not Sarasota Tim style, not staying in the US buying an RV, but moving to Mexico. Okay, and I'd really recommend it. And it's like the 51st state already, as you know. So many people here, you know, grew up in the US and they live here, but it's just a really, really wonderful place. And thank you so much for listening, and subscribe and press the like button if you can. I'd really appreciate it. I hope you enjoy what I've been saying. Sorry about the videos yesterday. It wasn't that great. I wasn't feeling that good. Today I'm feeling awesome. And love you all. Bye.